My mic was
Mhm.
muted. Oh, whoops. Okay, I was
Hell,
saying, hey, everybody, we just got done watching Overtalk. And check out the guy in chat that wants to offer promotion of your channel, viewers, followers, views, and chatbots. That's fantastic, usual chore. Please shoot me a DM right away. Welcome, everybody, to Y'all Gaming, the only show on the internet that asks you Y'all Gaming. I'm Cody, and we got TK here. Howdy.
what up? Yeah, I was actually just gaming a second ago on a game we're gonna be talking about in a second. But for that, man, I hope everybody had a good week. Just we're ramping up to the big gaming moment of this month, and that is Zelda.
Woo!
That's next week. Ooh, and then yeah, I mean it's actually pretty good like little stretch of time for games. Like if you were a Horizon fan, you had time to do the DLC, then you do Zelda, and then if you're a fighting game fan, then right when I feel like you probably have done a decent amount of stuff, or probably the most amount of stuff you can do in Zelda, because that's like 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Street Fighter right there. So yeah, we got a nice little stretch of games coming out for you to spend some good time in, and yeah, I'm excited for it. So before we
Yeah.
get into all that, we are going to talk some of the games that we've already played. So I saw that you actually got a chance. Did you play both these games that you put on here?
Yeah. Well, I didn't play Redfall, but that one
Yeah,
I
I've been
did want to
seeing a
talk
lot about
about.
it though. Yeah.
Yes, I had my eye on it, and I want to talk about it briefly. But before we get into that, let's talk about Jedi Survivor. Did you play Fallen Order? Doesn't seem like your kind of thing, right?
It's not that it wouldn't be my kind of thing. I just probably I just wasn't. The gameplay in itself looks like something I would do. I just was probably not. I probably wasn't didn't have the system for that or something like that, or I
Sure.
just was doing something else at the time. But I like that type of style of game, and to an extent, I do like Star Wars games. I'm really obviously I was a big Battlefront guy. Not the newer one. The newer one, I don't know. It just didn't hit the same. But
Yeah,
the
yeah.
one that was like the older one, like back on PS2 or 3 or whatever it came out on, I like that one a lot. So, but yeah, I can play some Star Wars. Just didn't play that one.
I was curious because I played this new one, right? Because I
Mhm.
played I loved the first one, which was Jedi Fallen Order, and it felt like it felt more like a Souls game, but to a AAA audience, which I thought was really neat. Like the most widespread normie Souls game you could make, which I thought was fantastic because I think the Souls formula is great. You could just like dial it down a little bit,
Mhm.
and it was really well made, and it felt very like lean and refined and like kind of reserved in a way. Like it didn't go on too long. I don't know how to put it. It was very focused. Um, but the reason I bring all that up is because the second game sucks, and I don't know if it's because it got too big and too ambitious, or if it's because it just runs bad. Because I don't know if you've seen how bad it runs.
I've
But
been seeing quite a bit of news. I actually
oh
watched
yeah,
I think Skill Up. I watched his review on it. And
yeah,
he was basically saying like he tried a million different settings
yeah.
on PC, and he has like a strong PC and it still was ass. And like I think that I don't know what systems or what like they are using in the office to test these games. But that's like
Yeah,
the third or fourth game that's happened with that I've like either seen or played. Like I played Wild Hearts,
I
and
was gonna say Wild Hearts did that. Yeah.
I don't even. I'm about to load it up right now just to see if it's actually changed. But I was waiting for the patch for so long that I just didn't think it was coming. So now I don't like. I just don't
You
play
just
it.
stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw how it was for PC, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna stream this day of, and then I saw the PC things, and I was like, oh, all right, I'm just gonna get it for PS5 because everybody says it runs fine on PS5, and then I got it on PS5 and it runs like on PS5. It's just as bad. Like it's literally like you know how when you move the camera and there's like white space in the corner and it'll just be
Mhm.
like empty, like it's loading in. That happened there too. I'll be standing on a platform as it's loading in. My character falls to. It's just bad. And there was a patch that came out yesterday that did fix it, which is nice.
Yeah.
But it's still just like, good lord, man. Like
And
so
I
many
mean
of
I think about
these.
that
Yeah,
pretty often too when it comes to like if you're playing if you're making a game like a console exclusive, then like everybody's consoles technically has the same, specs.
right.
Like, I mean, some people's consoles could be a little older, but like basically have the same specs. So when you're using a computer as like, your benchmark, I think you should probably find it like a decent benchmark for like it to run well on maybe like the last gen and
Sure.
then run amazing on the next gen. But I feel like they're running stuff on like the future gen and they're like, yeah, this is great. And then like people who I thought I had a good thing. I have like a 3070, and I'm like, that's great. And that game was like, no, it's not.
Yeah.
It's rough out here.
So I have a really good PC, but apparently it's like the highest end PCs can't do it, but like middle range can really well. But you're right. I thought that they would have been doing this. Like a lot of games are like being made for console first, and it's like, all right, well then it'll run really well on the console, but it didn't. I don't know. It's kind of like it sucks because like I think I like the game underneath it, but it has this thing where like you have a safe house in the game and you go back to it pretty regularly to do upgrades or sell stuff, whatever. Except when you stand outside the door to the safe house, it's literally like a 20-second wait because it's loading up everything inside, and like there's not any indication of it. There's nothing showing you what's happening. It's just like you're just standing there, and then it opens up. I thought that it was a locked door for a long time. I'm like, oh, I had to go around the other way. It didn't. Like It soured me on a lot of it. Maybe the game underneath is good, but I'm kind of sad because like I like this series, and I'm not a Star Wars guy. I don't even care about Star Wars, but I thought the series was really neat, so I'm disappointed.
Yeah, I think once you have something running bad on a console, like I think that's kind of the nail in the coffin. Like, well, except for like the Switch, because obviously sometimes
Switch can't do anything. Yeah,
can't do. So, but when it comes down to like using a PS 5 or the Xbox, whatever they're on right now,
Right.
Series X, something like that. Like it's not it, it's not it. So that sucks. And I think that should be a lesson. And there's just so many games that are coming out and like the first impression of it is so bad.
Right.
And
they're
like
$70 now. Like this game's
$70,
$70, dude. Like
yeah.
Ooh.
And I think about like, like if it's the server, it's the server, right? Okay, you didn't expect that many people to log on. That's different. But when the actual game doesn't even run that well, that's when it becomes like, I'm like, what was going on in the the quality testing, quality assurance section of your office, bro? They were like 30 FPS. That's fine. Send it out, boys. So
it was a mess.
Let me see what's the IGN rating on this, because I always like to see if they gave it a 7 out of 10.
Oh, it's good. I mean,
it really.
Yeah, the game itself is great. Like I think. I mean, I don't think it's as good as the first one, but like even if it ran perfectly, I'd be like, it's a little bit less focused. It's a little bit too big and sprawling, but I'd still give it like an 8. I would still think it was good. But
they gave it a 9.
They did. Yep.
Woo! Sheesh.
If it ran perfectly and was beautiful, I'd probably give it a 9 too, maybe even a 10. Like if it like. But it's because it's a pretty game. It just, you can't tell, because I think even on consoles, it's getting, like, the resolution is, like, 850 or something. It's like, Jesus Christ. Like, we can't even do 1080 now. That's nuts. Yeah, I don't know. I'm really sad about it.
900p.
But while we're talking about games that are not running well, have you seen anything about Redfall?
I've only seen people saying that, like, they are not really feeling it, and that it feels a little empty. And that's been the two big like things. I feel like people are just they're not really liking it, and then they're not liking it because it feels empty. So I think those are the two things I've seen the most about it.
Yeah, so I was kind of interested in Redfall, not from like a gameplay, like I wasn't ever like that interested in the game, but the developer that makes it has made some really good stuff, and I was like, oh, okay, this is a weird pivot for them. I wonder how it's going to work. And then as they got closer and closer, I was like, I still don't know how this works. I don't know how this game functions. And then we got to the day it releases, and it's like, oh, it doesn't. It just doesn't. Because the developer is known for, like, very focused single-player experiences. And this is like a loot shooter akin to, like, a Borderlands or maybe even, like, a Left 4 Dead. And it's just bad, man. Like... But the reason I bring it up, and especially compared to the Star Wars thing, it's like this game's also $70. Apparently it is on Game Pass, but whatever. It's also $70. It's just not ready the day it comes out. It's just not, it's not prepared. And it's like, dude, these games take too long and cost too much money now. Like, the devs have to omega crunch to put out what's still a product in the end. Like, I don't know. We're asking for too much too quickly, and maybe it's because, like, there was this big gap where there were no games, but I don't know, man. It worries me that all these games are coming out literally, like, more and more they're coming out worse. I know that people always say that, like, the games are unfinished, but, like, these 2 in a row, and like you said, Wild Hearts, which is another EA game, like Jesus,
I just threw that
right?
shit on too, and it's still doing 36 to 40 something frames. So
Yeesh.
yeah, I'm about to just uninstall it, bro. We're not getting back into Wild Hearts. That's a $70 down the drain. Because if we're like 2 months out, I think probably something close to that, and we're still running with these same issues of like, there's been no real advancement of the quality, which was the biggest thing that people were like, you could have left all that balancing to the win until like we figure that out first. And they've done a decent amount of balancing. I read patch notes, they've got balancing done, but you're not balancing my gameplay, bro.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So you bought the game? I thought you would have got a key.
No, I tried to get a key, but it was too late. I wasn't looking. I haven't really been on my key hunting or like on the key mailers or anything like that. So
Sure.
On me. It's on me.
Yeah, but that's tough.
Yeah, but yeah, just not fun at all. So yeah, I mean, I think that's an uninstall for me, and that's you almost had me this time, bro. I was really enjoying it because I like the Monster Hunter type of.
Yeah.
But that's just, I mean, it's just not. I can't even get 60 FPS. Come on, bro. Like I'm running Monster Hunter at like 240. You can't give me 60 like that. Okay.
I mean, it's weird because once you get 60, you can't go back, right? Like I feel like such a snob because when I see 30, I'm like, ew, like I can't, my eyes can't even gaze at it for too long. Otherwise, I get a headache. But it's just different. I don't know. It changes stuff. And I thought consoles were in a good spot because like we were getting more and more performance modes, which were like, all right, well, this will run at a higher frame rate but a lower res. I'm like, dude, I'll take that every time, please.
Right.
But I don't know. I feel like that doesn't. Now people are using the performance mode to make it even worse. It's like they're using it as a cop out. It's I don't know. It's tough. Going back to Bloodborne hurts. Yeah, that was the one I was thinking of. Is like everybody wants Bloodborne for PC because that game is locked behind some crappy hardware. It's like they're holding it hostage or something. That game is one day that game will be let free. I don't know.
Yeah. So all right, man. I guess the main point of these last 2 games is please do a little more quality testing on your game before you release it because it's just not fun to play that. Play that when I can't actually play that. So
just take more time. These games take too long to begin with. What's another 6 months, right? Like,
right. So I mean, I will always take a delay if that means when the game comes out, it looks nice or it's going to actually play the way that it's supposed to. Because sheesh, these games ain't playing like they're supposed to right now. So, but moving forward, we do have a game that's playing like it's supposed to, and that's probably because it was made for phones, so it's much easier to make it for computers. That Honkai Star Rail. So I have been playing that. It is I don't know if this is how many times they've decided to do RPGs, but it's basically a Genshin RPG. Honkai Impact 3rd was Genshin before Genshin, except it didn't have like that big open world. It was just kind of like Genshin fighting missions. I played that for a little bit too. Just I kind of went backward to see how it was. It was pretty cool. But this game is an RPG. It has auto battling. And I have not, because someone bought me some rolls, I spent some money, but I have not spent any of my own money on it. And I normally don't have to when it comes to games like that. I think if you're like a grinder and you want to like, have the strongest team ever, those are the people that will do that. I won't spend any money in a game because if I can play free and get through the game, then I'm gonna play free and get through the game. Of
course.
But I've been enjoying it. I'm not really super like, you're not gonna like label. I can't be labeled as like an RPG guy because there's a decent amount of RPGs I've skipped because of them being turn based. But I've also played a decent amount of RPGs such as Chrono Trigger and Star Renegades, but that was a roguelike. And then obviously Pokemon, whatever. I like this one a lot. It has a pretty cool system of like, you have your basic attack, you have your skill attack that takes your skill points, your basic attack restores skill points, you have 4 people on the field, and your ultimate, or your ultra, or ult, or whatever you want to call it, can be thrown in at any point in time once you have your ult bar full. So like you can do, like if your opponent is, or your the enemy is attacking, but you had your ult bar full and you see 4 attacks, you can do your ult somewhere in between those to interrupt. And it could potentially change the tide of like when they go, because there's a little on the side. You also see like the order of which enemies go and stuff like that. So it's cool. I'm not paying any type of attention to the story. I never do. It's a gotcha game. Like that's not what you're here for. I have heard some rumblings that the story is actually decent, so that's good for the people who like story. But that's not me. I'm not a story guy. I just want to play some game, and I think the biggest sell for me for that is that I can play it on my phone, and I now have that like backbone thing for your iPhone.
Is it like a controller thing?
Yeah, it's like you put your you take your it goes on this side, it plugs into the bottom, and it's basically like it's a PS5 controller for me.
Oh, that's neat. Okay.
Yeah, so and then it has a little thing like if I need to play it and charge it, like on the bottom of one side it has the the lightning adapter, so that way I can just plug it back in there, and
Sure.
so I can play and charge at the same time. It's a pretty good thing, pretty good deal. I have not been able to use it too much yet because the only thing I tried it on was for Flash Party, and just to try it, and then I was like, all right, that's cool. I'm still going to play a Flash Party on my PC more often if I ever play it, but it is nice to have that option to be able to play with a controller without having to bust out like an actual controller like my Steam Deck or something like that. So
yeah, I played a little bit of it. Was it last night? Maybe today's Wednesday. Was it last night? Was it Sunday? God, my sense of time is all messed up. Did I play this last night? What did I do last night? I streamed.
What did you do last night?
I feel like I did do it last night. I don't know what I did any day of the week. Yeah, but I played it for an hour. It was Sunday. I thought it was Sunday. Okay, I was gonna say I don't think it was last night. Yeah, so I played it a bit Sunday. Played it for an hour. And I was like, I get why people like it, right? Because it's clearly very polished. It's pretty. It's good. Not for me one bit because I'm not I'm not a turn-based guy, in any sense. But yeah, it was. I can see why people enjoy it. Vince actually, beat it already, which
sounds like a Vince thing to do.
Yeah, he apparently he said it was 60 hours, and he beat the game. And he only spent $5. So apparently,
they have they have this thing in Genshin where it's like it was like the Welcome Pass or something, and like every 30 days you would get like, it's basically like the Fortnite crew of that game where like you would get like some some V-Bucks and like some things, but so this one you get like some gems and I think some material. So it's worth the $5 a month, Sure. Like if you're one of those people that don't want to spend a crazy amount of money but like want a little bit of benefit, well, there you go. But yeah, I think for what it's worth, like you don't actually have to spend that much money. I know that, for some people, they just like to have that power and show it off. I'm not ever going to be like that. I just don't care enough to have my team be that strong as long as they're strong enough for me to beat the game. And if they're not, if I can go back and grind some stuff to make them strong, but it's not like the worst grind of all time, then I'll just go back and do that too. So that's usually what takes me out of games, is if like the grind is just not fun.
Right.
So like if I like beat a boss and then I have to sit in that same area for like 20 more hours to level up till I can go to the next area, then I don't want to play anymore. So
and that's usually how it is in free games, where it's just like you'll have a lot of fun, they'll give you a lot of resources, and then you hit this incredibly large wall. It's like, like 3 or 4 hours in, it's like, okay, this is where the real game starts. One thing I was talking to Vince about though is like, it's weird how no Western dev has really capitalized on this the same way that the Genshin devs have, between Genshin and Star Rail.
Like the gacha system?
Maybe not even gacha, just having this really, how do I put this? Like the relationship between the mobile experience and the home experience, like being so seamless. Like this game could just rule your life, and they get an absurd amount of money out of it, and there's so much polish. Like the game is very well made, and it's so it's clearly made with a lot of skill and artistry. Like it's not just crap. It's not mobile crap. The game's beautiful. It runs well. People love it. I fear for the day that Marvel creates a Genshin with Iron Man or Spider-Man, or you know what I'm saying? Like, no Western dev has really dipped their toes into this kind of thing that is so easily accessible in the mobile space, but also so well crafted everywhere. Because it's gonna happen. Somebody's gonna make this game that sort of penetrates the normie market. Because I feel like even now, Genshin, like, it's popular, right? But it's like gamer popular. I feel like whoever untaps that, whoever really brings it out to sort of the licensed masses, could have like a Fortnite on their hands, straight up.
Yeah, I went to go look real quick to see if gambling was illegal in Japan, and it does say most forms of gambling in Japan are generally banned by Criminal Code 23. However, they can bet on horses and shit like that.
Okay.
And I think that's funny that like they like Japan and China, by the way, are like they're vehemently against like gambling, but they got that gotcha system down to.
Oh yeah. Yep.
Because like you know what I mean? Like we're basically still gambling. You know what I mean? Like I'm rolling the dice on this one to see if I'm gonna get the thing that I get, and I'm spending a lot of money rolling this dice.
Yes.
But yeah, I feel like the way that they do it's good at I had to go look at China. I went to go to China too because I know they were Chinese. But yeah, I know it's good at like making that system work and seem appealing too. Like, you know, oh, like if you roll this character a couple more times, he's super strong or whatever. And also
Sure.
you get all these like cosmetics and books and like materials. And so like there's more than just grabbing a character. But I just couldn't imagine. I feel like the way that if America were to try to do that, they just would not be able to land the system correctly, and it will look like the worst money grab of all time.
It probably would be. It would be a lot more, I don't want to say capitalistic. I mean, like, I feel like, honestly, Genshin and Honkai, like, yeah, they take a lot of money, but I feel like you also could get very far without it. And I think that is what encourages people to keep playing, is, like, you don't have to buy stuff.
Yeah.
Certainly helps, but... And I feel like if a Western dev did it, you would have to buy something, right?
100, yeah.
Yeah, Eon said Hoyoverse makes good games with gacha systems on top of it. Yeah, exactly. I feel like if you have to make the good game first and not bake it in with the monetization. I think that's the problem.
Yeah, and they also like if you get in at the ground floor, they do give you a lot of like free things. So like, right. Right now they're giving you I think like 80 free rolls, which is pretty big, and then. North and like when I was playing Genshin, almost every time there was an update or like any type of problem, they gave you primos, probably some rolls, you know, just oh sorry about that. Here you go. Here's 10 more rolls and stuff like that. Yeah, you're not getting that in an American game. Yeah, Never. Sorry about that. Anyway, the game's fixed now, bro. Y'all can get back in there and spend more money. We've actually seen more, I think, American based games have that issue. I wasn't like that's a super huge issue with Battlefront 3. Like the monetization of it, it's usually just monetization issues.
Yeah. It was really bad because like you couldn't play like it was like a very rare chance for you to play as anybody cool. You had to like unlock Darth Vader or something, and of course people are going to try to be Darth Vader, right? So it was something like that. Yeah, it's like card systems or whatever.
Yeah, that too. I mean, I don't know where like. I guess you have Hearthstone who eventually like. All right, man, we made it, you know, the people figured out the meta. If you want to keep up with the meta, we're throwing out this expansion, which means you have to spend more money.
Yeah.
To, you know, keep up with the meta or you just fall behind. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just, it's the nature of the game, some of the games that come out. But I will say that, like, when it comes to what I've played from Genshin and from Honkai, too, for both Star Rail and Third, I just never felt like I needed to spend money. Sure. It's more so like I want to spend money just because, like, I mean, I think I put like $100 into Genshin like one time. Like, it was like, all right, bro, I see Klee, I want Klee, $100. I got 2 or 3 Klees, and then I was like, all right, I'm good. Never just played, never spent money on that game again. So
yeah. I fear for the day that Western devs figure that out, because again, I do feel like that's like a huge moneymaker in the space if you can attach it to a dev that knows what they're doing. And maybe this is ignorant. Maybe I don't know that, but like, are Honkai or Genshin attached to any media franchises in China? Like, is there like I don't know, like, is there like an animation or like a game series that they're from or something? Like, what I'm asking is, I feel like if a Western dev, Honkai is a media franchise, that's what I'm asking. Okay, because I was thinking, like, if you wanted to make a Genshin here in America now, how would you do it? You would have to attach it to something else. You can't just make it out of nowhere. They can't be totally new IPs. People wouldn't play it. They wouldn't care.
Marvel Impact, baby.
Exactly.
Smash Impact, bro.
Do
the Super Smash Brothers Impact. You roll, yo, my Kirby though.
I'm saying if Nintendo did it, dude, because they could add you could add a lot more characters because you don't need full movesets or anything. You could add everybody. Actually, everybody. Waddle Doo.
You know who could really do it is Sega. Like, dude, the Chow Garden system.
He's still on this.
It's built for mobile gaming like this, bro. It's time. Like, this is they're dropping money on the. There's a lot of times they're dropping money on the table because, like, I think there's a lot of things that Sega did right at some point, and then they just never capitalized on that. Sonic Riders also, although like Sonic, technically that doesn't really make sense because Sonic is definitely faster than the boards. Like, it still was a very fun game. Like, it was, and then they made Zero Gravity, and whilst it was still fun, it was not nearly as competitive and as quick, basically, as the first one. Now people are modding Sonic Riders, the first one. I think they modded the second one, but to play better, and it looks great. I've seen, I've been thinking about like actually, finding a way to get it myself so I can play it and kind of distribute it throughout my community or whatever. But they had that. They had the Chow Garden. Sonic Battle was that GBA game. They could have brought that back. There was a GBA fighting game that was lit. But instead, we just keep getting remakes of like 1990 Sonics. Like, I just bro, that was a good Sonic for its time. I don't want to continue to play these like 2D these 2D Sonic experiences. Like, I'm over that now, bro. Like, you put me in 3D. Some of the 3Ds were good, some of the 3Ds were bad. But the 3Ds that were good were really good.
But yes,
that's true. Well, okay, look, Sonic Unleashed was a really good game
until it was nighttime.
Until it was nighttime, and then I was like, "How did you slow this down this far?" Like, it was so sad. But like the day stages were slapped, and I used to go back and play those all the time. But yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I think there's definitely there's definitely room for this to work. I guess the closest we ever got to a decent like gacha game or like American based, and I don't even know if this counts because Capcom's definitely got their like Japan roots or whatever, but SF Duel, and I feel like that was probably the one game that I was like, all right, like I haven't spent any money on this, but I'm still having fun. But I have seen people on Twitter talking about them getting absolutely blasted like on ladder because they're not spending money. So like I think it's because I'm not trying to like climb the ladder. It won't matter to me, but for those people who are like competitive, it probably matters.
No, you hit a wall because I my growth was slowing, and then I got Bison, who was like extremely good, like, and I got him from a random roll, and like I was having fun, but the progression started getting slower and slower and slower, and then it got to the point where it's like, okay, well, you need an optimal team to get anywhere. And I think that's the problem with a game like that, where it's like, all right, well, I like these characters. I would like these characters to be my strongest. Yeah, but it's not an optimal setup. Okay, well, I don't want to play anymore. And it's like, because I'm just going to be bashing my head against this single person forever. I guess it's different if you PvP, but yeah, I kind of fell out of that game. I was having fun. Apparently they got Dante now too. So, cool. But yeah, I played Honkai Star Rail, not for me, but I did think it was funny, that hacker girl attack. That was kind of silly.
That was a nice attack. That was
a good attack. She just deletes you. Yeah, I kind of like that. So, but it's not bad. And like I said, I'm more amazed that they're putting out these games that are actually good, because they are good, even if they're not for me personally. They're clearly good, and people like them. So, not bad.
All right. Well, that's going to be it for our show. I am going to get back to playing some more Honkai Star Rail because I have time today. So if you guys are down, come on back to the TK Breezy stream. It's I'm going to put a little arrow because I can't raid myself. You just click that and you're there. And yeah, I mean, thank you guys for watching. One more. This will be on Spotify. This will be on Apple Podcasts.
Sure will.
And you can always keep it locked here on Prediction. We have like 8 million shows now. So whatever you're into, it's probably here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll be streaming tonight. I'm going live early at 7. And then I'm going to be doing a speed run challenge against Alpharad, and I'm very excited. We're both playing. He had a very funny idea, which is we run like 3-hour stupid games against each other, and I was like, that's a sick idea. So tune in for that, 7 p.m. tonight if you guys want to.
So is it like a speed run of who can beat all the games the fastest?
It's one game.
Oh, one game.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So it's like it's licensed. I don't want to spoil anything, but it's licensed like 3-hour media games. So this is a Disney movie game on the GameCube. Who could beat that game first? And they all take like 2.5, 3 hours. So we might make this a series. I think it'd be fun. So we're gonna try that tonight. If it's a bad stream, it's a bad stream. Not every stream. It's experimental Wednesday, but that's gonna do it for y'all, game. And I'll see you guys next time, next week. Check this out on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. But for now, we'll see you guys later. Goodbye.